Good, good.
Let's go ahead and start firing questions at Cort. You didn't really see anything getting here.
I didn't. I'm happy to be back. It's an honor. It's a privilege, and I can't wait to get going.
Does it seem strange to be back so quickly? I mean, it seems like you just
it doesn't seem strange. You know, I went to Oregon. It was a great opportunity. I originally am from the West Coast, and I played in the Pac-12, so I was familiar with that landscape. But I've always believed in these kids. I've believed in Vince. I've believed in Scott, and I'm excited about the opportunity.
Did you keep in touch with people here even after you left?
I did. One of my closest friends is Pete Nocta, so I would keep in contact with Pete. And there's different people within the athletic department who I'd touch base with here and there. So there was a little bit of familiarity during the season with what was going on here while I was in Oregon.
Have you and Coach Satterfield had a past connection at all?
We've had a brief past connection. I've obviously, since this process began, started to develop more of a relationship with him. But he's a great guy, and you talk to anybody in the business, you know, you won't find one person that says one bad thing about the guy. Not only is he a great football coach, but he's an even better human being. You know, he's about quality of life. He understands the values and cultures that people look for, especially when you're a coach of who you want to work for. So I'm excited to get to work for him.
When you left about a year ago, did you even give a thought that you'd be back here, much less this summer?
I mean, those kind of thoughts when you're leaving don't go through your head. But this is always, Louisville's always held a special place in my heart. You know, I've always believed in the vision of Vince. And when I got the opportunity and the call to come back, I was all for it.
What's your impression of what can be accomplished with this football program? I imagine it's kind of high if you're going to come back.
Yeah, I mean, I believe in these kids. Like I said, the first thing, I believe in these kids. You know, a couple years ago, we were ranked #3 in the country for the whole year, and we've won a lot of football games here, and I know we all expect to win a lot of football games here. So if I had any doubt in my mind that we couldn't win, I wouldn't have taken this job. I believe in these kids. I believe in the culture and in Coach Satterfield, and I'm excited to get started.
How do you, I'm sure you've looked at some film or so on, but how do you explain last year's by the defense?
I haven't been able to really gauge enough film yet. I'll start doing that in the next couple of weeks. But like I said, it's all about culture, and I think that going forward, it's going to be a great culture, and I know our guys are really looking forward to the opportunity.
There's been a lot of attention paid to the facilities at Oregon, and ordered wood and carpets and all that. Does any of that make a difference when you play?
I mean, if you're a high school kid and you've never heard of Ferrari leather, it's you know, a little bit of a big deal. But in the grand scheme of things, you really need to sit down with these kids and let them know that Ferrari leather is not going to help you get to your dreams and your goals. So, I mean, it is nice having those things, but at the end of the day, they got to perform on the field, they got to perform in the classroom, they got to perform in life, and those facilities won't do anything for that.
As a young guy climbing the ladder in college football, do you ever buy or do you always rent?
I've rented everywhere I've gone, but I plan to buy here.
On the facility note, obviously things have changed a little bit, a little more bigger since you left. What's your impression?
They're great so far. I've only seen them this morning. Pete Nocta kind of took me around, and I was, where was this before? Where was that before? But it's awesome. I mean, it's bigger. There's obviously more space. The weight room's awesome. You know, the players' lounge and everything like that. The meeting rooms, the coaches' offices, they've all been expanded. So I'm excited.
When you made first contact, did you contact the staff here, or did they contact you?
We had, I mean, it was mutual with the staff there, and my agent was involved as well, and that's kind of how everything transpired.
You are a West Coast guy, if you want to call it that. I mean, as you said, you went to school, you're from there. So what is it so appealing here that you liked it and wanted to come back?
The players, you know, I really believe in cultivating relationships, and I really believe in these kids. You know, I've developed relationships with a lot of these kids for 4 years, you know, and I believe in them, and I want to finish something that I started. You know, the next is Vince. I believe in his vision. I believe in who he is as a leader. He's not only got a great vision on this athletic program, but he's a great human being. He's the kind of guy you like being around. And then talking, like I said, talking with people around the coaching community about Scott, who he is as a person. Obviously, he's had on the field success as well, but, you know, I want to work in an environment where you like coming to work every day. That's a positive working environment, and I know I'm going to get that here.
Do you know yet where your focus will be in recruiting?
I do not know that yet.
How about the division of responsibility? responsibilities? Are we going to be a co-DC? Like, how much
Yeah.
are you talking to Brian about what?
I will have the co-DC. I'll be coaching the outside linebackers as well. Brian will be calling it. So, but we'll be working obviously game plan wise. You know, in the meeting rooms, we'll be a really cohesive unit and working together. So he's a great guy, young guy. You know, very passionate. Got a great knowledge of the game. So I'm excited to get to work with him too.
How do you see your approach changing this time around? Recruiting approach?
I'm not sure it would change. Recruiting is all about cultivating relationships. You know, when these kids, they're obviously, you know, younger kids, when you get them to, you know, buy into the trust factor and you really, you know, develop a strong relationship where they know you really truly care about them, that's when when recruiting gets easy and when you can take over. You know, you can show them the facilities, you can show them the glitz and the glamour, but at the end of the day, you know, they got to be successful on the field and they got to be successful off the field. And it's our job as coaches to, you know, show them the pathways and teach them and develop them and mentor them in order to be successful. So my approach won't change at all. It's all about that trust and you know, developing relationships.
What experience did you gain at Oregon that you'll bring here?
There was a lot of different, you know, recruiting approaches that we did. You know, recruiting was a daily basis type thing, whether it was a FaceTime session, whether it was a, you know, a texting session. But what we did there was a lot of, I mean, it was a group effort. It wasn't just a position coach. It wasn't just an area coach. It was the whole group. And I thought that was awesome. That's why there was success with that class, and that's why that we were able to sign some of the players we signed. You know, I have no doubt in my mind, especially with bringing, you know, some of the people we're bringing back, you know, and having Scott. If we all work together in the recruiting landscape, we're going to be very, very successful.
A lot of the success Oregon had in recruiting, was it difficult to think we got all this talent coming in and I'm stepping away?
It was difficult, but like I said, when you believe in the people in this program, the leadership that you know this university has with Vince and with Scott, you know, that makes the decision easier.
A lot of the kids were vocal on social media yesterday when news leaked out that you were coming. Trayshawn, I think, was one, and maybe Tutu. How much have you kept in touch with the current players, and how much?
I haven't kept in touch with any of them. You know, obviously I was at another school, but you know, from the previous relationships we had when I was here and recruiting them, you know, we all developed very strong relationships. You know, with the kids who were down in South Florida and the kids we had here. You know, and I coached a couple different positions here. I coached the back end and I coached the backers. So I'm pretty familiar with these guys. You know, I know what makes them tick. I know what gets them going. You know, and I've you know, tried to cultivate when I was here, like I said, those relationships in the strongest way possible, and I plan on keeping on doing so.
Percentage-wise, how many of the guys on defense do you think you already know and wouldn't have to reintroduce yourself to? Some, like a majority.
Yeah, percentage-wise, probably 95%. Yeah, so I'm familiar with these kids, and like I said, the major emphasis that we have right now is culture. You know, and I'm excited to get going with them and, you know, showing what culture's all about.
Kind of the laboratory for Nike. How much influence does shoe companies and that sort of thing have on football versus basketball, or we've seen what happened here?
To be honest, I really don't know a question like that. I'm so focused on football anyway. You know, there's always... Right, there's the glitz and the glamour. I mean, that comes with all the recruiting pitches, and these days there's, you know, photo shoots during, you know, visits and everything like that. It's different with social media and new age technology. So you always have to have the newest and the brightest stuff. The kids want to see it, but at the end of the day, like I said, that's not going to win you football games.
Anything else for Cort?
We're good. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.